Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden, but we're going to head a little bit to the northeast of me here in Skåne in the very south of the country, and we're going to go back to Kalmar, which is a really beautiful and very historic city on the southeast coast of the country, and I do recommend that you visit there if you get the chance. For this review we're going to return to a brewery who have featured twice on the channel before. The first beer that I had from these guys was a Dunkel Lager, which was the recommendation of a friend of a friend. I think that review was 2017 or 2018, but it was a very nice beer, a very good recommendation that I got. And more recently, when I actually went over there to visit Kalmar and Öland, which again is very beautiful, I picked up a bottle of their Blueberry Berliner Weisse, which was very low alcohol, but a really nice example of the style of a thought. And for this review today, which will be number 3 from this brewery, we have a style that is very popular these days, so I'm curious to see how they interpret this one. So hopefully you guys enjoy my take on this one as well. Like I said, we are going to head over to Kalmar, and this time we are going to do review number 3 from Ängö Kvartersbryggeri. This one is the Ängöl New England IPA, or NEIPA, as I guess some Swedes might call it. They like to call IPAs IPAs over here, but this one comes in at 6.2% ABV, and this was released as part of the local Småland assortment in Systembolaget here in Sweden on the 1st of June 2020. So yeah, curious to see how this one turns out, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this beer as well. This is one that I picked literally because I hadn't had anything from this brewery in quite a little while, and I thought it should be quite an interesting one. So yeah, let's see how we get on with this one then. So as always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Ängö Kvartersbryggeri before. No doubt you will see some more reviews from these guys in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Ängö Kvartersbryggeri then, on to my brewery notes. So as I've told you already, Ängö Kvartersbryggeri are based in Kalmar, which is in the historic province of Småland in the southeastern part of Sweden, right across the water from Öland, which is very beautiful, and I do recommend that you go there. But this brewery was founded in 2010 by Kalmar local Johan Håkansson, who had been homebrewing since 1993. So quite a long homebrewing career he had, 17 years almost, which is pretty damn impressive. But the brewery was originally based in an old farmhouse in the Ängö district of Kalmar, and this used to be home to a company called Ängö Tunnbinderi, which produced casks and kegs for local breweries and bars around the Kalmar area. But this company went out of business in 1968, and thereafter the building was used simply as a storage warehouse. But it underwent extensive renovations in 2009 and 2010 to become home to the brewery, and it was equipped with a 1600 litre copper-clad brew kit from Austria with fermentation tanks on the next floor up. And this facility gave them an output of around 100,000 litres of beer per year. In April of 2016, though, they moved to a new premises. This is the old Gemax factory on Polhelmsgatan, and that gives them an output of around 500,000 litres of beer per year, and this also means that their beers can be distributed nationally as well. So you have been able to order the Ängöl beers here in Sweden since 2016. Over the last few years, they've basically been attending a lot of different beer festivals and adding new beers to their repertoire as well, and as of June 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, they've produced around 40 different kinds of beer. You can get tours of the brewery if you book it, and I think they also do kind of beer tastings and things like that as well, if I remember correctly. But you can get all that kind of information on the brewery website. They've got a very nicely laid out website, I have to say, and it gives you a lot of information about the other different beers and things like that they do as well. But yeah, a brewery that basically, as many did, started up as a guy who was a home brewer turning professional, and I have actually seen their factory. We drove past it when we were going through Kalmar actually. It's not too far away from one of the big retail parks, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was closed when we were going past it, so we couldn't go in and kind of talk to them and things like that, but maybe that's something I can do in the future. Like I said, Kalmar's a very, very nice city, and you've got Åland just across the water, which again is very nice, and I do recommend that you check that out as well. But yeah, that's all I can really tell you about the brewery for the moment. If you want to learn more about them, of course, you can check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on. And of course, you can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages as well to learn more about all the different beers that they've done. So yeah, let's have a look at this one then and see how we get on. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork before we open it up there. As you can see, slightly different artwork compared to the other ones that you'll find from Ängö Kvartersbryggeri and their Ängöl beer range. But yeah, I quite like the fact that they've used a kind of local name, or a local place, a local district if you like, for the name of the brewery. I think that's always very nice, and it gives you a really nice sort of kind of feel to the beer. As you can see, the bottle's been sweating a little bit since I've taken it out of the fridge. But yeah, a 330ml bottle, this one. I think this cost me around 30 kroners or something like this. But like I say, this was released as part of the local Småland assortment in Sweden on the 1st of June 2020. When I was over in Kalmar, I had a nice IPA from these guys with my friend Kalle, and that was their West Coast. It was more of a West Coast IPA. I think I also had their lager beer as well, which turned out to be really quite nice. But yeah, a really, really nice beer, this. A really nice little brewery, this one, in my experience, so hopefully this turns out to be another very nice beer. But a 330ml bottle, this one, plain black bottle cap on it, 6.2% New England IPA, contains barley malt and oats, this one. So yeah, it doesn't say wheat, which is quite interesting, so we'll need to see how we get on with this one. This might be well be a very, very kind of creamy New England IPA, so let's get it out and we will get on with the tasting then. Very curious to see how these guys interpret this style. Well, it looks really pretty damn hazy actually, but maybe not quite as gloopy and soupy as some of the other ones that I've come across. But yeah, there is still a little bit of kind of sediment on the bottom of that, but I did manage to stir it up and get quite a lot of it out. But yeah, I think this looks pretty damn nice. I have to say the hoppy aromas coming out of this smell very, very nice actually. So as you can see, there's about a third of a finger of a quite bumpy perfect white head on this one. That's going to very quickly fade away to be a very kind of thin foamy layer. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of the head there, but I mean overall it does look pretty nice. If I put my fingers behind the glass there, you can see this one is pretty damn hazy, so it must have a considerable amount of oats in it, and that's not just due to the condensation on the glass. It is a pretty damn hazy one, this actually. That's pretty impressive for a 6.2%er, but if it is heavy on the oats, then that makes sense. In terms of its colour, I would say that this it leans kind of between the yellowy and the orange end of the New England spectrum. It's kind of somewhere right bang in the middle, but I mean overall, in terms of its appearance, it looks pretty much as you would expect from one of these kind of New England IPA styles. There's a lovely little bit of fruity aroma coming out of this one. So yeah, I've got a feeling there might be a bit of Simcoe in this, just going by the aroma, but we'll take a little closer look at that now and just see how we get on. But nothing overly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance. So yeah, let's have a look at that aroma then and see how we get on. Ooh, that does smell pretty nice actually. Yeah, I mean this one is quite interesting, I have to say. There's something that tells me that this might be Simcoe and Mosaic. The other thing that it could be would be something like Idaho 7, but I think Idaho 7 is a bit more complex than that. There's something that tells me this might be a sort of straight up Simcoe and Mosaic beer. There's something that, you know, it could be that there's a wee bit of Citra in there, but there's something here that's just telling me this is a very straight up Simcoe and Mosaic beer. Yeah, it's just a kind of gut feeling, if you like, based on experience. I could be completely wrong. As you know, if you watch the channel regularly, I love to play these you know, guess the hops with these beers. I feel like I haven't done that on the videos for quite a while actually. I think most of the beers I've reviewed in recent times have actually told me the hops. So It's always fun to test your nose and test your palate and things though, but there is just something about that that makes me think Mosaic and Simcoe. There are other options, and the main thing is you get a lovely big kind of smooth on the fruity side of things. We'll kick off with that then, because that's what struck me first. You get a lovely kind of smooth and a big smooth kind of passion fruity note out of this one. It does lean a little bit, you do start to get a little bit of an almost mango-y and, you know, apricot-y kind of quality out of it as well. It does have some of those softer tropical fruits in there, but it's the softness of the passion fruit that's making me think Simcoe. You know, it could be a blend of things. It could be a bit of Simcoe and a bit of Victoria's Secret or something, because there are some kind of darker, more pungent-y you know, notes out of that. So that could be like Victoria's Secret. I don't think it's quite strong enough to be Galaxy, which of course is the big brother of the Victoria's Secret. There are other hops that it could be, like I say, Idaho 7 is an option, El Dorado is another option. What else could there be for passion fruit? You know, you've got various things from New Zealand like Rakau and Riwaka and stuff like that that can give you the more kind of passion fruity notes as well. So yeah, that's an interesting point about this one. There's just something in my head that's saying that this could be Simcoe, possibly a bit of Simcoe and or Victoria's Secret. I think Victoria's Secret is probably the other option in terms of the tropical fruits with this one. But it's got a lovely soft kind of passion fruity note to it, perhaps a wee bit of mango. I don't think there's Citra in this, to be honest with you. I'd be surprised if there was Citra in this one. But yeah, it's definitely got, it's got a nice kind of soft, juicy passion fruity note to it. There is a wee bit of a slightly apricot-y, papaya-ish type quality in there as well. And there's a wee bit of just a kind of tangerine-y orange to this one, which it just seems most likely to be Mosaic, actually. Yeah, there's just something that tells me that it could be Mosaic in this one, because there is a wee touch of earthiness in there as well. The other hops, of course, that it could be, if it's oranges, you could have a bit of a Zaka in there, which will give you a bit of pineapple as well. You could have Amarillo, which is the more oily orange. You've got Mandarina Bavaria, that would be another option. Waiti from New Zealand, another one. Pacifica, another New Zealand hop. Sabro is the new one as well, but that would give you a bit of a kind of coconutty note to the beer as well, and you don't really get coconut out of this, I have to say. So yeah, that's an interesting point to make about this too. But yeah, the fruity side of this beer, I think, is really quite nice. So tangerine oranges, good bit of a kind of softer, juicy passion fruit, maybe a little bit papaya, apricot-y, kind of softer tropical things in there as well. But yeah, a nice kind of juicy, fruity nose to this one. On the other parts of the beer though, the malty side of things, I would say that there is a nice kind of, there is a bit of a white bready base to this one. It almost does smell a little bit farmhousey. You definitely get some of those woody, vegetally, herbally elements that you can get from a more farmhousey yeast. So there is a little bit of that coming out there in this one. And as I've told you before, when you compare these beers to the American ones, it's the tree houses that are, sorry, not the tree houses, the alchemists that are the more sort of farmhousey leaning ones. The treehouse ones are definitely a little bit more kind of creamy and oaty, whereas the trilliums are a bit more kind of wheaty and bitey. So this one, it has a bit of the kind of creaminess you'd expect of like one of the treehouse beers, but it's definitely got a bit of the farmhousey elements, sort of woody, vegetally, herbally sort of things you'd expect of an alchemist beer. But yeah, nice bit of an oaty kind of creaminess to the beer. There is a wee touch of an almost biscuity sweetness in there, but it strikes me as being very creamy and very kind of you know, very sort of oaty and smooth actually, which is interesting. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what it comes across like in the actual flavour profile. But on the green side of the hops, because that's what we didn't really cover, I'd say there is a bit of earthiness to this one. There's a bit of floral quality there as well, and I mean both of the hops, if it is what I think it is, you know, Simcoe is like a 10-11% alpha acid one, whereas Mosaic is a sort of 14-ish% alpha acid hop, so they should give you a good bit of floral character. But to me, the green side of the hops really lean more towards the kind of grassy end of the spectrum. So that's an interesting point definitely to make about this particular beer. I really find this one to be a little bit more farmhousey and a little bit more kind of grassy and things too. So yeah, quite a soft aroma on this one, I have to say. Overall, soft and juicy fruits, kind of more creamy and slightly farmhousey malts, and then a little bit more kind of grassy on the green side of the hops. So yeah, interesting aroma this one. Take a little bit of time to check that out for yourself, because you can get some interesting things from these beers, but let's have a taste of this one now and see how we get on. This one is the New England IPA from the Ängöl range at Ängö Kvartersbryggeri in Kalmar, in the historic Småland province in the southeast of Sweden. Let's get stuck into this one. Sláinte, skål. Yeah, that's pretty solid, to be honest. Yeah, the first thing that strikes me about this beer is that it's pretty smooth, and it's got a nice little bit of an oily kind of character to it as well. I remember thinking when I tried the IPA that I talked about earlier, it had a nice kind of smoothness to it, but it also retained quite an oily mouthfeel. And you know, if you've watched the channel before, I do kind of appreciate an oily mouthfeel when it comes to IPAs. I do really like it, particularly when there's a bit of an orangey character to the flavour. So this one, I think, it's got an interesting flavour profile to it, this one, and I think it's a nice kind of solid beer. And it definitely kind of creams up a little bit the more that you drink of it as well. You do start to get more of the oatiness. I think the oatiness starts to take over the flavour a little bit the further that you go into the aftertaste. But in terms of a New England IPA, it is pretty solid, actually. I mean, it's not... This one, I think, is a kind of easier sort of drinking one, if you like. It's not like the Stigbergets and the dry and bitters and things that, blow the head off you and things. These really big, mad, absolutely crazy beers. It's a really kind of solid, drinkable one. It's one of these ones that you would say is a nice introduction to the style, I guess. I think that's a fair thing to make about, a fair statement to make about this one. So yeah, it was one of these kind of solid, slightly sort of well done New England IPAs in my mind. So yeah, and I mean, it sort of, the thing that I like about this is that I know, to be fair, I know this brewery a little bit, and it sort of keeps in the mouthfeel and things that I remember from the Blåberliner and the Kalatiders, if that was the name, Kalatiders, the dark lager that I had from these guys, and the IPA that I had before. It really does remind me of that, and I like it when you go back to breweries, pardon me, and you can see like little traits coming through. So it's quite, as I say, it's quite an oily but also very smooth and drinkable New England IPA. So yeah, this is a nice beer that if you know the style, you can sit and drink and sort of not think too much about it. But of course, that's what we're going to do just now. We're going to try and break down the flavour a bit more. I'd say that this is quite a nice sort of gateway New England IPA, if you like. I like this one. So yeah, this one for me, let's take the malty side of it first off. I mean, straight away you can feel a nice little bit of a white bready quality. That blankets the middle of your tongue, the kind of middle third of your tongue and the back third of your tongue. It really kind of blankets it very, very well, and it's very smooth. But the further you go into the aftertaste with this one, you can feel the sort of oaty creaminess just kind of smoothing out on top of that. If you go to the middle third of your tongue, to the very centre of that, you do get a little bit of a sweet kind of almost caramelly note out of that, and as you move further out from that, you'll start to get a little bit more of a McVitie's digestive biscuit type quality. There is a little bit of sweetness there in the middle of the palate, but really the malt base of this one leans towards that oatiness, quite heavily. Usually, I guess, you would have a little bit of wheat to kind of balance it out and take the mouthfeel maybe down a little bit, and just almost give it a little bit of bitiness and a bit more kind of crispness on the back end of the palate. But really, this beer, it feels quite thick because of the fact that I think it's only got oats and regular kind of barley malt in it. Because, like I say, it doesn't say Veta on it as well. It just says vatten, kornmalt, havre, humle or uljest. So yeah, basically barley malt, oats, hops, and beer yeast. So yeah, definitely one of the slightly kind of creamier New England IPAs that you're going to come across. But even then, it's not the thickest one I think I can say I've come across. But yeah, it's got a good balance between the kind of thick and oiliness. I guess what the wheat normally does is it takes away some of the oily character the beer and just makes it feel a little bit more almost bready, if that makes sense. But yeah, I do like this beer actually. I wouldn't hesitate to drink that again if that was on tap in one of the restaurants in Kalmar and I was having a burger or something. You know, this would be a good sort of burger beer along with the more West Coasty IPA that I had before. I need to find out what that beer was because I did like that. But yeah, like I say, the malt base in this one is pretty kind of straight up. I think, yeah, bready base, kind of more creamy oats kind of sitting on top of that, little bit of a sweet kind of caramelly note in the middle of the palate, and then more biscuity qualities as you kind of push further out from that. So yeah, I like how that goes together in this one. Straight up malt base, but it does the job, and definitely this beer really does lean more towards the kind of creamy end of the New England spectrum. On the hoppy side of things then, back corners of the palate, little touch of earthiness there. Again, I still think Mosaic with this one. As you come further forward, that smoothens out a little bit. You get some nice floral aromaticity as you reach the front corners of the palate, then around the very front curve of the tongue. It's just a little bit lighter and more grassy, I would say. So yeah, the green side of the hops, I think it's fairly well balanced between I think it's the earthiness and the grassiness that spring out of this one, but there is a nice little bit of floral quality just balancing that out. But I really like how that goes together in this one. The balance there between the kind of creaminess and the grassiness and the hops, it really gives the beer just a very nice kind of soft flavour actually, which I like. But yeah, on the fruity side of things then, as I always say, behind the front curve of the palate you get that nice kind of oily bubble where the fruity juicy esters come out of the beer. So yeah, front third of your tongue, you can feel that. There's some of the oaty notes, the oaty kind of creaminess is pushing into that right enough, but at the back of that fruity part of the palate, that's where you get the nice kind of soft passion fruity notes there. As you move forward from that, it does become a little bit more mango-like, and there is a wee bit of an apricot-y papaya kind of undertone to it, but I'd say yeah, mainly passion, a soft passion fruit and more of a kind of mango-y quality to it. I do think Simcoe in this. I really do think Simcoe, to be honest with you. But as I say, I wouldn't be surprised. It could be Victoria's Secret, but I think if it was Victoria's Secret, if there was a bit of that in here, you might get a bit of a stronger grapefruit, but it's really a very soft kind of passion fruit, I think, that's coming out of this one. But as you reach the very kind of front part of the tongue, you will get a bit more of a slightly oily character, and it's got a kind of tangerine-y, orangey note to it, to be honest. Yeah, I think I would stick with that. There is just something in my head that says there's a wee, there's something in here that just says to me this is Simcoe and Mosaic. I've got a feeling of that. It just really, there's just quite a few things about this flavour that really ring true. The earthiness and the kind of tangerine oranges at the front of the tongue make me think Mosaic, and the soft kind of passion fruity notes and the other kind of soft tropical fruits in there do make me think Simcoe actually. So yeah, the fruitiness of this beer I think suits the whole vibe of the beer. The oats and the softer passion fruit really mix together very well. The lighter grassiness, then you've just got a wee bit of a slightly more oily orange on the very front tip of the tongue. Like I say, I like this beer. This is one of these ones that you know, when you're reviewing so many beers and stuff like this, you get beers that kind of blow the head off you at times. This is a nice, more relaxed, I guess you could say this is just a nice, more kind of nice relaxed New England IPA, and I do like the beers that I've had from these guys. The Dunkel, the Blueberry Berliner Weisse, the IPA that I had in the bar that I need to figure out, and then this one, you know, they're quite, to me, these are quite nice relaxing beers that you can sit down, drink and enjoy, and not, you know, not have to kind of think too much about. They're nice. They're nice. I guess these are the kind of beers that you recommend to people that are kind of getting into craft beer, and you know, they're wanting things that they can kind of session a little bit. I think that's a good way to describe the beers that you get from Ängö Kvartersbryggeri. I like this one. It gets a thumbs up from me. I wouldn't hesitate to drink that again. It'd be interesting to try it on tap and see how different it is, but quite a thick, oaty leaning, very smooth New England IPA in my mind. In terms of the mouthfeel then, as I say, I think this is quite a I find that top end of mid body, bottom end of full body, it's somewhere in that region. Carbonation is very smooth, a big sort of creamy mouthfeel in my mind. Yeah, big sort of creamy mouthfeel. There's a little bit of oiliness to this one, like I said. Some nice floral aromaticity. This one, but yeah, I'd say we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I think it's a big, thick, sort of creamy, very slightly oily mouthfeel overall, this one. But yeah, kind of top end of mid-bodied, bottom end of full-bodied. In terms of hoppy bitterness, I think this one is very low. I think you're talking about 20-ish IBUs, something like that. Very, very low IBUs on this beer. Malt is, like I say, quite thick and kind of creamy, and you've got a nice juicy fruitiness there with just a little touch of an oily character to it. Soft tropical fruits and a slightly more oily, orangey character there. But a really nice New England IPA, this one. As I say, not one of the beers that's going to kind of blow your mind and things like that, but really nicely crafted, slightly more creamy on the New England spectrum, and definitely a nice one to just kind of sit down and enjoy a couple of, actually. But I think that's a good way to describe this brewery. They've got nice sessionable beers that are well flavoured and that you can enjoy without you can just sit and enjoy these with food and things. These are good beers to eat with burgers and other kind of things. So yeah, thumbs up to Ängö Kvartersbryggeri for this one. I've enjoyed reviewing this, and I will see if I can get a hold of their the other IPA to review for you here. I hope that's not a cask only beer, because I would love to do a review of that. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. The New England IPA from the Ängö range at Ängö Kvartersbryggeri in Kalmar over in the southeast of Sweden. Thank you again for watching my reviews. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Ängöl and Ängö Kvartersbryggeri. We will return to these guys at some point in the fairly near future. But thank you again for watching. Check out my social media, check out Ängö Kvartersbryggeri, and I'll catch you guys later. Slange, skull, cheers.